All lives matter. I'm going to say it again in a minute for those on the left who predicate everything they do based on feelings, yet either say nothing or, if you go on Twitter, downplay the severity of the situation any time an officer is killed in the line of duty. There are bad cops, absolutely, but the majority wake up in the morning, put their uniform on, kiss their loved ones goodbye for the day, not knowing for sure whether they'll return home, depending on the area, and do their often thankless job while being handcuffed by bureaucrats who basically use them as their pawns. Meanwhile, those bureaucrats are sitting in some cushy office worrying more about whether street names should be renamed in honor of criminals like George Floyd. And whether they want to admit it or not, or want to call people racist for saying it, all lives matter, lefties. Even the blue ones. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me one more time for Things That Need to Be Said, if the big tech powers that be even allow you to see this. For MRC-TV, I'm Nick Kangadis. I was going to talk about something else today, but I read a story written by MRC-TV's own Libby Krieger, and it made my blood boil. Arvada, Colorado police officer Gordon Beasley was murdered on Monday, allegedly, by some scumbag whose name I'm not going to mention here because screw him. But Beasley was murdered because this guy, as Arvada police chief Link Strait said, Officer Gordon was, quote, targeted because he was wearing an Arvada police uniform and a badge, unquote, and that he, quote, was ambushed by a person who expressed hatred of police officers, unquote. Well, rest in peace to Officer Gordon and bystander John Hurley, who Strait said was a true hero and likely disrupted what could have been a larger loss of life. Now let's talk about the left and the blood that is clearly on their hands. I'm sick and tired of them claiming the right is full of violent white supremacists who only complain about protests because they're somehow racist. Well, FYI, lefties, a good portion of you that carry out the riots, the looting of businesses, and burning them down while hating the US and police, yeah, some of those people are white. So who are the racists? I mean, you're the ones intimating that only black and brown people are the protesters causing destruction.
Are we the baddies?
But yes, you have blood on your hands. Black Lives Matter, you have blood on your hands. Members of Congress like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Eric Swalwell, Rashida Tlaib, and others, you have blood on your hands. Nancy Pelosi, who says and does nothing about the hatred coming from her side of the aisle, you have blood on your hands. The lefty verified accounts on social media platforms who basically cheer anytime someone who doesn't think like them is hurt or dies, you have blood on your hands. And any city council around the country that has defunded police under the premise that police officers are evil, you absolutely have blood on your hands. Now listen. We can condemn the actions of police units who have arrested people because they go to church instead of a Walmart during the pandemic. That's our right as Americans. We call something out when wrong is done, and we praise something when actions are justified. But for the left, it's not just about hating police. It's about neutering police so they can't do their jobs as they should, but doing it the way the left wants, which is to say almost not at all. After all, remember that these small businesses being burned down while politicians actively tell their police forces to stand down is just reparations for the racism these activists have more times than not never experienced themselves. They have insurance, they can rebuild.
People are worried about looting and there are literal lives being taken away. There are people who are dying and y'all are mad about people looting Mag Mile. Get over it. These buildings are insured. Materials will come back, but we will not come back if they kill us.
Oh yeah? Well, screw you too. God forbid. But what if their homes were burned down and the criminal arsonist defense at trial was, well, they have insurance, they can rebuild. I did what I did for something that doesn't even involve the person whose house I burned down. That's the problem with the left. They whine and bitch and moan every minute of every day about some kind of imaginary oppression they feel while simultaneously cheering on the very real oppression of their ideological counterparts. No self-awareness at all. Because for all they virtue signal about their outrage and compassion for who they consider oppressed, that empathy only goes one way. It could be the same exact situation that they find themselves in, like the example I just gave a minute ago, and they either ignore or have no clue that the persecution they constantly foam at the mouth for is the same things they claim happens to them. Anti-police sentiment is probably at an all-time high right now, which is ironic because everything the left pushes for calls for more government intervention, more governmental red tape, more government, period. The difference is they only want it their way or no way.
Because I want to fit in.
And then the left will walk around wondering why crime rates in their far left-run cities are skyrocketing. Well, maybe, just maybe, it's because you're telling everyone that all cops are bastards and they're only out to kill you if you possess more melanin than the next guy. Sometimes, much like this time, all the left needs to do to get the answers they seek is to look in the mirror. So, what do all of you think out there? Were these things that needed to be said? Let me know in the comments, where I do read most and reply to some. And please, don't forget to subscribe to our channel on Rumble. If you like this video, don't forget to comment, share, and give it a thumbs up. Those are the best ways to help these videos reach more people, and it's the best way to let us know you want us to keep these videos coming. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so that YouTube might actually let you know when MRC-TV comes out with a new video if they haven't taken it down or censored it yet. Like us on Facebook, and check out more of our work at MRCTV.org. For MRC-TV, I'm Nick Kangadis.